In today's video, I am turning this balloon into this tea light holder. You're going to want to stay for this one. So I have seen this done with plaster before, and I'm trying this with Resinecrete. Once again, do not know if this will work, but I have seen it on Instagram, like I said, with plaster. So I'm hoping it should work with an eco resin, and Resinecrete is a very forgiving eco resin. So fingers crossed. So before I do anything else, I'm going to start with mixing some of this, and Resinecrete is a 1:3 ratio. So I'm not sure how much I'm going to need for this purpose, but I will mix up a batch, and then if we need some more, I can always mix some more. Now, for this purpose, I'm not adding any colorant to the Resinecrete because we are going to finish this differently at the end. But for now, just know that I'm going with the white Resinecrete. And of course, if you did want to add color, you could do that. You could do marbling, you could do all sorts that you normally do with eco resins. But for now, I'm just keeping it white. So once this is mixed, I'm going to use this little sort of like a ketchup bottle, I suppose you could say, to squirt the Resinecrete into the balloon. Basically, you need something that has a big nozzle so you can essentially have it go into the balloon. And this, I'm hoping, will work. So I'm not filling it up completely. I'm going to do maybe half in at a time, and then if I need any more, I can always top up. Okay, so now that I have my Resinecrete all ready, I can go ahead and fill up a balloon. This is a little balloon that I think is used for water actually. So you fill these with water, and I have a little pump that it came with, but I'm just using air, not water. So yeah, so I've just sort of blown it up, and now I'm going to try and put the nozzle off the bottle into the balloon and try and push the Resinecrete out into the balloon. Now, this is why it's important that you don't have too many lumps in your Resinecrete when you mix it, because then they will jam your nozzle and essentially have issues. So try and mix it quite well, and it's especially important for this purpose. Now, how much of Resinecrete you put into the balloon is entirely up to you. So you don't want it to be too less, but you don't want it to be too full. So I'm going about halfway up. So like I said, this is an experiment, and I don't know if I should leave some of the air in the balloon with the Resinecrete or shall I take all of it out. So I've done my first one with some air in it, and the second one I'm going to do the same way, except I am going to pull some of the air out before I close the balloon, and then we'll just know which works better this way. So obviously one looks bigger, one looks smaller. And the next thing you want to quickly do before this stuff starts to thicken is clamp these with some tea light. And before I clamp these down, I'm just going to snip off the balloon bit that is extra where we tied it, just so then it looks a bit neater. And what you want to do is grab a tea light, any tea light. I have this one here, it's actually even used. And I'm going to press that down on the balloon and use my little clamp. This is just the clamp that I use for my woodworking. And I'm going to essentially clamp this down onto my table. So the tea light is sort of indented into the balloon. Now you want to be very careful about how much pressure you put on this, because you obviously don't want your balloon to burst. And as a precaution, I have put down sort of a protection on my rug in case this does decide to burst on me. Okay, so I have this clamped down. I am gradually tightening this. Again, as I said, I'm going to be cautious not to burst the balloon. And same way, I'm going to do the second one. And this is the one with less air in it. And like I said, and then this way we have something to compare with which works better, because I don't know honestly which will. So now that these are clamped, we are going to leave these to cure for the usual time, and maybe a bit longer, because I don't know how it's going to be getting these off the balloon. Hopefully I should be able to just tear the balloon off, but we'll see. So I will be back, say in about 2 hours, just to be on the safe side.
2 hours later.
So it's time to see if this has worked. Now, as I popped the clamp, the balloon actually did burst, and I can already tell that the one with the air hasn't worked quite as well. And the one that we got the air out of the balloon seems to have worked really nicely. Okay, so this is the one that we had air in, and obviously what's happened is the resinecrete has collected and flattened at the bottom, and the top of the balloon was just filled with air. Whereas in the second one, and you'll see better in a minute, you have the resinecrete taking the entire shape around the tea light holder. So I'm just tearing the balloon so I can get this out, and then I'll move this over to the side so you can see this a bit better. So there you go, you can see that has come out perfectly. So now to finish these, I'm going to be using this Stone Effect spray paint, and I just think it gives it a nice sort of, well, stone-like effect. You could use anything. In fact, I love this so much. I did do another one, and I'll show you that at the end. But yeah, you can just, obviously, like I said, you could color the resinecrete itself, and then you don't have to do anything. You just seal it, or you can do what I'm doing here and use a normal spray paint, or, you know, all sorts really. So there's so many ways that you can finish this. But this is what I decided to do. And this stuff, if you do use the stone spray paint, it does take forever to dry. So make sure you give it a good amount of time to dry. And this is how they turned out. So I know the one with the air is not perfect. We'll use it anyway. I'm going to use this for my home. And that is what that one looks like. And this is the one that did work out. So the conclusion is that this does work with a resinecrete, and I think they look so cute. It looks like cushiony stone for my tea light. Yeah, so I think these turned out fab. They do have a couple of imperfections on the top where I had my clamps, but I did do another attempt. Like I said, I was obsessed with this, and that one turned out even better, no imperfections. And I think it's just practice, I suppose. So this is the other one that I did. As you can see, the surface is nice and rounded, and you don't have those little indentations that the other one has. And I went with a marble spray paint on this one. Yeah, so let me know which one do you like better, and I'm so happy that this works. And if you've enjoyed this video, comment, like, sub, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.